When Olivia and I were about to get married, I found a diary she had written when she was 16. In it, she said, "Being chased by this idiot is really annoying. Does he think that just because I accepted his gift, it means I like him? How shameless!" I was completely shocked. I had thought that when she agreed to date me, it was because she liked me too, and that it would lead to a happy marriage. But it turned out it was all a lie. The summer night was a little cool. Olivia didn't say anything when she came into the house. I took off my coat and sat next to her. Mrs. Chen handed me a cup of tea, telling me to relax. She turned to Olivia and said, "You and Michael have been together for 7 years. If you don't want to marry him, just break up with him. The house is bought, the furniture is all there, and you've been quiet for so long. Do you want to get married or not? Michael being patient with you isn't an excuse for you to be selfish." Mrs. Chen's face got red with anger. She paused and then asked, "Why aren't you saying anything?" I quickly told her, "It's okay, Mrs. Chen, really, there's no rush." She sighed and looked away. "How can it be no rush? This girl is playing with you and it's too much. I really don't understand what she's trying to do." Olivia, playing with her nails, looked cold the whole time. She only looked up defiantly after Mrs. Chen finished speaking and said, "Fine, I'll marry him. You can plan it however you want." She stood up, stomped upstairs in her high heels, and didn't even look at me once. My heart felt tight, and I lowered my head to say a few words to Mrs. Chen before quickly going upstairs after Olivia. From the bathroom, I could hear the water running. Olivia was taking a shower. I sat on the bed, just staring at the floor. I tried to keep my voice calm as I asked, "Do you not want to get married?" The sound of the water was too loud. She didn't hear me. She turned off the water and opened the door, wrapped in a bathrobe. She asked, "What did you say?" Her hair was wet, and she hadn't even dried off. Water dripped from her eyes down to her neck. I felt a little awkward and didn't know what to say. She said, "Close your eyes." With a cold look, she grabbed some clothes from the chair. I nodded without looking at her. It wasn't until she handed me the hairdryer and said, "Get dressed. You can open your eyes now," that I slowly opened my eyes. She was fully dressed, sitting next to me, asking, "What do you want to say?" I sighed, and while drying her hair said, "Do you not want to get married?" She shook her head. "No, that's not it. Don't think that." But I knew she was lying. She didn't want to marry me at all. I wanted to suggest that we postpone the wedding or say I wasn't in a hurry, but the words wouldn't come out. The only sound in the room was the hairdryer. After a while, I touched her dry hair, stood up, and said, "I'll go to bed now." She grabbed my hand and looked upset. "Are you going to sleep in a different room?" she asked. "Are you upset?" I forced a smile and said, "No, not at all." She bit her lip and said, "I've given myself to you, done everything for you. What more do you want from me?" Olivia suddenly got upset, her voice rising. She yelled, "If you keep pressuring me like this, it will just make me feel disgusted." We had been together for 7 years, and she had never spoken to me like this. But now, maybe the stress of the wedding had finally gotten to her, and for the first time, she lost control in front of me. I froze, feeling like a fool for a moment. She didn't look at me again, opened the door, and left. Only the faint smell of her shower was left in the air, reminding me of what had just happened. After that night, neither Olivia nor I mentioned what had happened. We didn't talk about postponing the wedding, but she became more and more distant. Even when it came to picking a wedding dress, she said any dress would do. It even got to the point where, on Mrs. Chen's birthday, she didn't show up at all. Everyone laughed it off, but we both knew it was because Olivia was angry with her mother. I ignored the strange feeling in my heart and pretended nothing had happened, trying to practice my smile. A few weeks later, I woke up and saw her staring at her phone. I asked, "Why aren't you sleeping?" As I tried to sit up, she quickly locked her phone. She closed her eyes and said, "I'm going to sleep now." But in that moment, I clearly saw the photo on her screen and the tears in her eyes. It was a picture of 17-year-old Olivia and 17-year-old Ryan. I turned my back, feeling like I was in a cold cave. I remembered years ago when her best friend had said with disdain, "Even if you're together now, so what? You're nowhere near Ryan, just a fat loser." What had I thought back then? I thought if I just kept trying, I would eventually melt Olivia's frozen heart. But now, the truth was right in front of me. My heart felt like it had been stabbed. She had never forgotten Ryan. The strong front she had put on over the past few days broke down instantly. I suddenly didn't want to get married anymore. I wanted to break up with Olivia. After deciding, I thought about when would be the right time to tell them. From high school until now, Mrs. Chen had always been very kind to me. I could tell that she really cared about me and treated me like her own son. Because of this, I was worried about how to tell them in a way that would hurt the least. The day Olivia was supposed to try on wedding dresses, I said I couldn't go because of work. After graduating from college, I started working at a media company, planning events and marketing for celebrities. Olivia wasn't very happy about my job because it often meant long hours, and sometimes I had to wake up very early for meetings. So when I said I was busy, she didn't doubt me at all. In fact, she seemed relieved. Except for Mrs. Chen, who thought Olivia was being difficult and throwing a fit by not wanting to try on the dress. She scolded her for it. When I got home, Mrs. Chen had just finished a phone call, and her eyes looked a little red. She grabbed her bag and said, "Michael, wait for me. I'm going to find her right now. What could be more important than trying on a wedding dress when she's about to get married? She must be out of her mind." From Mrs. Chen's words, I understood. Ryan had come back. No wonder Olivia had been distracted lately, and no wonder she seemed relieved when I couldn't take her to try on wedding dresses. It all made sense. When people are so speechless, they sometimes end up laughing. Mrs. Chen tried to comfort me. "Olivia's just in a bad mood these days. She'll be fine soon. I'll go—" I interrupted. "Mrs. Chen, let us decide for ourselves. I'll take care of it." I went upstairs, stood there for a while, and tried to take out my phone, but I dropped it. I bent down to pick it up, then, feeling lost, sat at the foot of the bed and called her. The phone rang a few times before she answered. It was noisy on the other end, making it hard to hear. She asked, "Is something wrong?" I asked, "Where are you?" There was a short silence, then she sounded annoyed. "What do you mean by asking that? Are you suspicious of me?" She moved to a quieter place and said, "Michael, are you being annoying? First my mom scolds me and now you want to do the same? I already said I would marry you. What more do you want from me?" I repeated, "Where exactly are you?" My fingers dug into my palm as I tried to stay calm. She replied, 13 Daju Street. If you want to come, then come. And bring the paper bag from my nightstand." Then the phone disconnected. I stared at the ceiling for a long time before I could control my anger. I never look through Olivia's things because I think people should have some privacy, even when they're getting married. But when I opened the nightstand, I saw the paper bag right away. I was about to grab it when I saw the diary next to it. There are times when you just know something. It was like back in school when the teacher would call your name, and you'd know you were in trouble. It felt like that now. I knew I shouldn't open it, but I couldn't help myself. When I opened the diary, I held my breath. The first entry read, August 29th, 2015. A new person came to the house today. My parents said he likes sports, and he's going to live with us. He always smells of sweat, which is really annoying. I remember it was a hot day when I brought all my things to the Chen family's house. My parents and Mrs. Chen were good friends. That year, I joined the provincial team, and they helped me transfer schools so I could train more easily. When I got to the Chens, Olivia was the first to open the door. She was wearing a clean white dress, and she looked calm and elegant. She smiled at me, led me into the room, then turned and asked, "I'm Olivia, what's your name?" "Michael." She nodded and handed me a bag of snacks, saying, "These are from me and my mom. If you need anything, just let us know. We're here to help." She was so kind and cute back then. As I stood there, awkward and shy, watching her smile, it felt like something good had started in my heart. I never imagined that this was how she saw me at the time. Another entry read, November 5th, 2015. I always felt like he looked at me strangely. Could it be that he really likes me? He even gave me a birthday gift, a wooden cat carving he made himself. Maya asked for it, so I gave it to her. I felt a chill. January 3rd, 2016. I hate how they joke about us. March 7th, 2016. He actually told me he liked me. How embarrassing. Does he really think he's the main character in some story? How long until he moves out? My hand shook as I turned the pages. When I first moved to this city, I didn't have any friends. No one at school wanted to hang out with me except for a few other athletes. Most of the time I was alone, but Olivia would often come to find me. She would introduce me to others as her brother, listen when I was upset, and help me when I got hurt. It was natural to like Olivia. So even when I realized she didn't love me, even when I decided to leave her, I never regretted liking her when I was younger. When I was a teenager, I didn't have much money, so I tried to make a cat carving with the little skills I had. I spent weeks on it, ruined a lot of wood, and cut my fingers many times before I finally finished it. When I gave it to her at the party, everyone looked at me. I felt embarrassed and was about to take it back, but Olivia had already taken it and put it back in the gift box. She said, "Thank you, I really like it." I thought she really liked it, so even when her friend Maya made fun of me for being a loser, I didn't care. I never cared what others thought of me. My dad once said that you should only share your feelings with the people who matter most to you. Olivia liked it. That was all that mattered to me. But I never knew that she had given the gift to Maya, who threw it away as soon as she left. I never understood why Maya was so mean to me. Until later, when I realized it was because I didn't join her group and refused to go along with her. I had no idea back then. I thought Olivia was different. When I told her how I felt, I couldn't even finish a sentence. But she smiled brightly. She said, "Thank you for your feelings, but I'm not thinking about dating anyone right now." What was she thinking back then? I gritted my teeth, forcing myself to keep reading. April 9th, 2016. He seems to have misunderstood me. He can't seriously think that just because I accepted his gift, I would like him, right? I can't even stand looking at him. I decided to find a boyfriend so he would give up. I couldn't help but laugh. For the first time, I saw how silly my feelings were, how unimportant. She could have just told me. If she had, I wouldn't have gone near her. I saved every bit of my allowance to buy her things she wanted. Why would she hint at wanting things she couldn't afford, yet happily accept my gifts while writing things like this? The last entry was on May 13th. That day, Olivia was stopped by some thugs, and there was a fight. I rushed to protect her and got hurt when I was hit. I couldn't train for weightlifting anymore. After that, Olivia and Ryan broke up. Not long after, Ryan went abroad to study, and they lost contact. After starting university, I began to lose weight and change how I looked. The chubby kid I used to be was gone. It was during this time that my relationship with Olivia really started to change. Maybe it was because she remembered my kindness, or maybe it was the way the light looked that night. She suddenly nudged my arm, looked up at me, and asked, "Do you still like me?" I froze for a moment, and then she stood on her toes, put her arms around my neck, and kissed me. On the first day we started dating, Olivia and I told Mrs. Chen. Olivia said, "Mom, we're together." At that moment, she seemed more relaxed than ever, like a weight had been lifted. Looking back now, I realize that what I thought was her real love was actually just her way of paying me back. I snapped back to reality, grabbed my things, and left. When I got to the place, I saw Olivia through the door, sitting with Maya and some other people, drinking and singing. Olivia waved her hand to say no to a man who wanted her to sing, while Maya, as usual, tried to cause trouble, saying, "Olivia, relax. Now that Ryan is back, why don't you break up with Michael? You didn't really fall for him, did you? I still remember the first time I saw him. He was so dark and fat, such a fool, giving you that ugly wooden thing. It almost made me sick." Olivia replied, "Are you being annoying?" She put down the microphone, about to say something, when the door suddenly opened. Everyone in the room froze. Olivia looked a little surprised, but when she saw me standing there as usual, she calmed down. I handed her the paper bag and said, "Here's what you asked for." "Thank you." She paused, about to explain, when she saw the diary in my hand. I asked, "Was it fun?" I couldn't control my anger, and I snapped, "Was it fun, Olivia?" I slammed the diary on the floor. She just stood there, looking scared. She seemed like she wanted to grab my arm, but I quickly moved away. Maya stepped forward and pushed me, saying, "Are you crazy?" The sound of a slap echoed as I hit Maya across the face. I angrily scolded her. "Who do you think you are? I'm talking to her. Why are you interrupting?" "I've put up with you for so long, you nasty person. For years you've been talking behind my back, calling me fat, a loser, and self-important. I've had enough of that." "So what if I'm a weightlifter? Is it so shameful that I gained weight from my sport? Who the hell do you think you are to look down on me? My parents have never criticized my weight or how I look. What are you then? Go look in the mirror and stop pretending to be some fancy person. You're just a bully, always following Olivia. The thing I find the most disgusting is how you've clung to me like a leech for all these years. If you didn't know better, you'd think I ruined your family." My eyes were red with anger. Maya just stood there, looking hurt but not saying anything. Olivia grabbed my arm and said, "Michael, calm down." I pushed her away and gritted my teeth. "I've been calm enough." I picked up the diary and showed it to her. The more I read, the paler Olivia's face became. She muttered, "Let me explain." "Explain what? Break up?" I laughed, my eyes full of anger. "Honestly, just thinking about it makes me sick." I turned and walked out without looking back. Olivia tried to follow me, but I stopped her. I asked, "Are you chasing me because you want to marry me?" She just stood there, not moving. She watched me walk away, step by step, until I was completely gone. After I confronted Olivia, she avoided me for several days. Everyone at home could tell something was wrong, but no one asked. The first person I told was my mom, and when she heard, she wasn't surprised. She asked, "Do you want to come home?" I replied, "I need to think about it some more. I haven't told Mrs. Chen about the breakup yet." No matter what happened between Olivia and me, Mrs. Chen had always been good to me. I didn't want to disappoint her. Besides, this job wasn't something I could just leave easily. Starting over would take time. After hanging up, I looked at myself in the mirror for a long time. Maybe it was because of my job, but I had become more careful about how I looked. Slowly, I had changed. I looked at myself, and it felt like I was seeing the old me again, holding the weight, squatting down, training day after day. In the end, that person became more and more distant, replaced by the person I had become. Someone who watched their weight and cared about their appearance. I had changed, but it wasn't the success I had imagined. I missed the version of myself who worked hard for the future, caring only about being good at things and not how I looked. Life's decisions often come down to one thought. That evening, I made a big meal. I didn't want to be like Olivia, someone who put things off and left things unfinished. I knew I had to be the one to end things, otherwise Mrs. Chen would never let it go. After finishing the meal, I said, "I've broken up with Olivia." Before she could say anything, I added, "I'm the one who ended it." Mrs. Chen's eyes immediately filled with tears. I gave her a bowl of rice and gently comforted her. I know Mrs. Chen sees me as her own son, but when it comes to relationships, we can't force things. Honestly, I don't have feelings for Olivia anymore. I'm planning to quit my job. I've already given my notice. Once I finish training someone else, I'll be going back home. Mrs. Chen, I smiled at her. If you miss me, you can come visit. Mrs. Chen didn't say anything. She just kept crying. After a long time, she finally said, "It's Olivia. That girl is too stubborn. If I had known—" Sorry. I comforted her for a long time, until she finally accepted it. Olivia didn't find out I was leaving until about 2 weeks later, on my last day of work. I had a flight booked for the next morning to go home. She knocked on my door, her voice shaking. "Can we talk for a bit?" Time really does help with feelings, and my anger had turned into just not caring anymore. I forced a smile and said, "There's nothing left to talk about. Don't worry, we'll be okay." "As for Mrs. Chen, I won't say anything more to her. She won't bother you anymore," she replied. "That's not what I meant." I opened the door. Olivia looked at me, looking sad. She looked like she hadn't slept well, and she was clearly tired. She asked, "What time is your flight tomorrow? Can I come with you?" "Up to you." With that, I shut the door. The next day, Olivia and I went to the airport together. I agreed because it would be the last time. Even for Mrs. Chen's sake, I didn't want things to be too awkward. After getting out of the car, I grabbed my bag and was about to leave. She instinctively grabbed the handle. We pulled at it for a while, and I got impatient, my eyes cold. She looked down, feeling guilty, and slowly let go. She said, "Don't forget to keep in touch." I scoffed and walked away without looking back. Before getting on the plane, the first thing I did was block Olivia's number. Cutting her out completely was the best thing for both of us. After returning home, the first thing I did was sleep for 3 days straight. My hometown is nothing like the city. Life moves so slowly. After the wedding was off, none of my relatives asked too many questions. They just told me to go out for walks when I had nothing to do. A few weeks later, my relatives started trying to set me up on dates. My mom, amused and helpless, managed to stop them after some effort. Over the years, I had saved a good amount of money. I put most of it in savings and invested a little. One of my high school classmates, David, was planning to start a social media business. When he heard I was back, he really wanted me to join him. His idea was to create a street interview show. "Basically," he said, "we'll just interview random people. If they want to make friends, they can write down what they're like on a piece of paper, and we'll give it to the next person. If they think they'd be a good match, we'll set up a meeting." I had been thinking about what to do next, so when I heard David's idea, it felt right. I gave him some money to start the business. David was really happy. "We're going to be successful, I just know it." I felt a little unsure, but also excited. Maybe it was because I was starting a new part of my life. Whether it worked out or not, I was excited about the new things I would see and do. After getting ready to start our social media project, we planned our first filming day. Our first location was the university area, where we randomly asked people to be in our videos, but not many people wanted to. So, we decided to try filming at an elementary school. This time, it went much better. Kids are usually more relaxed. After filming, we planned to get something to eat. Suddenly, David tapped me on the shoulder. "There's a pretty girl over there." Not far from us, under a tree, stood a girl in a white dress. She was slender and looked fresh and innocent. It seemed like she had been watching us for a while. She walked over and, with slightly red cheeks, asked, "Hey, is this a social media thing?" She handed me her phone and asked, "Can I get to know you?" Just as she spoke, my phone buzzed with a new message. It was from a number I didn't know. The message had a photo of Olivia and Ryan holding hands. The text said, "They're together now." I knew right away who it was from. I got angry. I quickly replied, "Want another slap?" After sending the message, I blocked Maya's number. David noticed my mood change and quietly asked, "What's wrong?" I replied, "Nothing, just ran into an idiot." As soon as I said that, I looked at the girl in front of me and quickly added, "I'm not talking about you." The girl wasn't offended. She smiled softly and said, "I know." She handed me her phone again and said, "My name's Anna." After we exchanged numbers, I went home and found out from my mom that my meeting with Anna wasn't just by chance. We had actually been in middle school together. I looked through my old school things and found the graduation photo. After looking closely, I finally recognized the small, skinny girl in the corner as the one I had just met. To be honest, I didn't remember her at all. My mom said, "You see, her name is Anna. She might have liked you back then. After all these years, you two meet again. It's like fate. Maybe something will happen between you two." I didn't know what to say. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is thinking someone likes you. I made that mistake with Olivia, and I wasn't going to do it again. I looked at Anna's profile and sent her a message. I wrote, "So it turns out we were in middle school together." She typed for a while, deleted it, and then finally responded, "You don't mind, do you?" I replied, "What would I mind?" She responded, "Well then, can we hang out more often?" She followed up with, "I don't really have any friends around here." Over the next little while, Anna would randomly message me. Eventually, she started helping us with filming our videos. Her personality was interesting, lively, kind, and energetic. She could talk to anyone, even really old people. My mom really liked her too. One time, when they met, she insisted on having Anna over for dinner. I didn't know what to say and just said, "You've changed. You're not the same as the first time I saw you." She didn't quite understand at first. When she realized I was talking about how she had changed from a quiet girl to a friendly girl next door, she tucked her hair behind her ear and said with a proud smile, "Because I think first impressions are important." I laughed and shook my head. I wasn't stupid, I understood what she meant, but I wasn't looking for a new relationship, so I told her directly how I felt. That day, she came to me holding her cat and said, "Look, this cat used to have no one to adopt it. Everyone thought cats like this eat too much and get fat, so no one wanted it. It was so sad, all alone." I nodded, feeling sorry for the cat. She continued, "So I took it in and made sure it had the right food. It's such a small thing, but it makes the cat so happy. Isn't that a good thing to do?" I couldn't think of anything to say. It was like something was stopping me from agreeing. She went on, "And I've been here for so many years with no friends. It's just me and the cat every day. Doesn't that seem lonely? Shouldn't good people be rewarded?" I asked, "So what are you asking?" She hesitated for a moment before saying, "So, can you be my first friend? Just think of it as a good deed on your part." The world seemed to go quiet. The moonlight shone on the girl in front of me. She was clearly nervous, like my answer would decide everything. I took the cat from her, looked at her, and typed into my phone, "Hello, new friend." Anna smiled. I got a message from Olivia 2 months later. She had a new phone and contacted me. I had blocked her, but she kept changing numbers. One time I accidentally answered, but neither of us spoke. I was getting impatient. I said, "Olivia, can you stop bothering me?" Her voice was quiet when she replied, "Mom really misses you. When are you coming back to see her?" Hearing about Mrs. Chen made me feel a little bad. During this time, she had sometimes sent me money, probably worried about me losing my job. When I didn't accept it, she started sending me recipes. I remembered how she had done the same thing when I first moved in, always trying to take care of me, cooking for me. When I was sick, it was Mrs. Chen who stayed up all night. I couldn't be mean to her, so even though I didn't like Olivia, I couldn't be completely heartless. Seeing that I felt a little sorry, Olivia tried to take advantage. "What if I come see you?" I interrupted her. Aren't you back together with Ryan? There was a short silence on the other end. I said with a cold tone, Is this how you are with every boyfriend? Always thinking about your ex while you're with someone else? I sighed deeply. Olivia, don't you think you're being pathetic? After that night, Olivia didn't contact me for a long time. I thought things were finally over, but then I unexpectedly ran into Maya in this small city. Anna and I had just left the university area when we saw someone with a sun umbrella walking towards us in a very dramatic way. When I saw her face, my smile disappeared. She asked, Got a new girlfriend? She laughed and said to Anna, You know, he used to be really disgusting. Before she could finish, Anna slapped her hard. Maya immediately tried to hit back, but I stopped her. Someone nearby called the police. Since it was a fight between two people, we ended up agreeing to settle things and left. Maya, holding her face, gave me an angry look. I walked up to her and blocked her way. Are you sick? She scoffed. Yeah, I'm sick, so what? She stepped closer, bit her lip, and looked up at me. I quickly stepped back. She turned her head and said, Olivia and Ryan broke up. She still can't get over you. I thought you should know, so I came to tell you. You really don't understand, do you? You can't appreciate when someone is trying to be nice. I just looked at her without any expression. She frowned a little, but I barely noticed. I took Anna's hand, and she looked surprised. When she realized what I was doing, she squeezed my hand back. I just wanted to leave, not noticing Anna's red ears or Maya's pale face. Hey, Maya called after me again, slowly saying, If you get back together with Olivia, I promise I won't say bad things about you to her anymore. I replied, You're crazy, go take your medicine. A few months passed before I finally sent Olivia a message. I wrote, Keep your dog on a leash. Maybe I was too angry. That night I had a dream about high school. I was in the advanced class, where most students were really smart, but I was always at the bottom. I was big and strong, with dark skin and a chubby face, so there were a lot of rumors about me. People made fun of me everywhere. The class leader once said, Look at him, he's clearly a thug. I bet he's been in a lot of fights. He'll definitely end up at the bottom, just a waste of resources. But one time when I went to the bathroom, I saw the class leader being bullied, and they were pulling down his pants. When he saw me, he looked at me like he was begging for help. I hesitated for a moment, but then I went over. In front of everyone, I said, Please move aside, I need to use the restroom. I wasn't a hero. I had already told the school security, and that was all I could do. To my surprise, later on, the class leader told the teacher that I was the one who was bullying him. I didn't know what to say. I didn't hate the people who hurt him, but I didn't understand why he blamed me for not saving him. He made it sound like I was the one who planned everything, and the headmaster was about to believe him. Just then, Olivia and the security guard showed up in the office. She spoke very clearly, demanding that he show proof it was me, and then had the security guard explain what really happened. She even calmly argued with the headmaster, saying, You all owe Michael an apology. If the school punishes Michael, we'll report this to the authorities and make sure everyone knows what happened. She flipped her hair and grabbed my hand, pulling me out of the office. As I watched her hair bounce, the sunlight that day seemed to smell like fresh grass. It was a feeling of liking someone that I didn't expect. When I woke up, I felt a warmth in my chest. It was only 2 a.m. I got up and poured myself some water, and just as I was about to sit back down, I heard a noise outside my door. I opened the door and saw Olivia standing there, looking tired, leaning against the wall. The cold wind had messed up her hair, and she looked pale, like she had lost weight. When she saw me, she looked surprised. But then the door shut. I lay back in bed, and my phone buzzed with a new message from her. She wrote, I'm sorry about Maya. We had a fight, and she won't bother you again. After a pause, she added, I broke up with Ryan. Olivia stayed in South City for a short time. Every time I went downstairs, she was waiting outside. When I came back at night, she was still there. I ignored her. My parents ignored her too. My dad said people should have some self-respect, but you can't stop a dog from wanting to guard the house. My mom replied, "It's not even her house." During this time, the media work I was doing started to get some results, and I could slowly get small ads. David and I were working harder than ever. We were working almost all the time. I was running around trying to come up with new ideas. But as they say, when things are going really well, something bad might happen. I didn't see the road clearly and was hit by a car. David helped me up and asked, "Are you okay?" Anna had already run off. She came back with a big bag of medicine, and David teased her about it. She was still out of breath, but she looked at me with bright eyes. "Is it okay?" I frowned and asked, "What?" She said, "Let me help you." In the end, I didn't let Anna help. I found a chair and took care of the wound myself. Filming ended early, and Anna insisted on driving me home. I gave her the keys, but she drove really slowly, constantly looking around like she didn't know how to drive. What usually took half an hour took an hour and a half. When we finally got home, she naturally put her arm around mine to help me. But then, as I took a step, I stopped. Olivia was leaning against the wall, looking right at me. She looked pale, and her mouth was moving. She took a step towards me. Anna noticed something was wrong and looked at me, asking softly, "Is that the person you don't like?" I replied, "Yes." I ignored her and walked past, but Olivia grabbed my shirt. I looked at her with cold eyes. She seemed to realize what she was doing and let go. She looked down at my foot and asked, "Have you put on medicine?" I didn't say anything. The door shut in her face again, like all the times before. No response. After closing the door, I could hear cooking sounds from the kitchen. My mom looked happy when she saw Anna. She said, "Anna, stay for dinner?" Anna hesitated and looked at me. I nodded and said, "Don't be shy. My mom is rarely this excited. You'll have to eat a lot." She smiled, showing her dimples. I asked her, "Aren't you curious who she is?" She said, "I guessed, but it's not important." She leaned closer and whispered, "If you don't like her, then she's not important." After dinner, it was already 9 o'clock. The moon was up. I walked her downstairs. As soon as I opened the door, my mom's smile went away. She said, "It's a bit scary standing here so late." Anna looked at Olivia and smiled, saying, "Goodbye, Mrs. Chen." After she left, I told Anna to call me when she got home. But then Anna hugged me and said, looking sad, "Can I have a hug? Just a normal friend hug?" I nodded and hugged her gently. But then Anna was pulled away. Olivia grabbed her, raising her hand like she was going to slap her. I gritted my teeth and shouted, "Olivia!" She froze, her eyes red. I didn't understand why she was acting like this. She had wanted to break up with me, but now she was doing this. Anna hid behind me, saying, "Michael, she's really scary." Olivia, not giving up, asked, "Who is she?" "Your girlfriend?" I put my hand on my forehead and said, "Olivia, we've broken up." She replied, "I know." Her voice shook and tears ran down her face. She sobbed, her words coming out broken. "But I regret it. I regret it, Michael." I responded, "But I don't regret it." I told her clearly, "I don't regret breaking up with you, and I won't regret leaving North City, so no, I won't be going back. Whether or not I have a girlfriend, whether it's her or someone else who I marry in the future, none of that has anything to do with you. Because that person will never be you." That was the end of it. The hope in her eyes completely disappeared. That night, Olivia didn't stay downstairs. Months later, one night, I got a message from Olivia. It had been 2 months since we last met. She asked, "Can we meet just to say goodbye?" This time I replied, "Okay." Outside the window, it started to snow lightly. This year seemed to be ending. It was an end, and also a beginning. I arranged to meet Olivia at a cafe. Heavy snow covered the ground, and the street cleaners were already out early. When I went outside, the only marks on the road were tire tracks. The snow on the sidewalk hadn't been completely cleared, and the top layer had turned to ice. I kicked it, and the hard snow scattered. I chuckled. But my smile quickly disappeared when I saw Olivia standing not far away, looking at me. For a moment, it felt like I was back in high school. Winter snow. My favorite thing was making snowballs and then kicking them away. Olivia opened the window and called out, "Mom says come upstairs for dinner." "Okay," I smiled back, then turned and ran back inside. When I walked over to her, Olivia sighed softly in my ear. "I thought we were really back in the past." She gave a sad smile and said, "But this time it's for goodbye." We sat at opposite ends of the table. I ordered coffee, looked at the time, and said, "I only have an hour." She sat down and said, "I'm sorry about the diary." I replied, "I don't mind that." She hesitated, playing with her fingers. If it weren't for the diary, I interrupted her. "There's no if. Even without the diary, we would never have worked." She looked upset and said, "I've always had a question. After all those years together, why didn't you even give me a chance?" I tried not to get annoyed and asked, "Then let me ask you, why did you get together with me in the first place?" She didn't answer. I answered for her, "To pay me back." I talked about how silly the whole situation was. I slowly smiled and said, "What made you think that how you felt about me was some kind of gift? Just because you liked me? Because you thought I was easy to take advantage of? But the truth is, not long after I told you how I felt, I had already moved on. The reason I helped you back then was because we knew each other. If it had been anyone else, I would have done the same. If you hadn't given me hope later on, I would have moved on quickly and started a new life. I was good to you because I thought you deserved it. That's why I treated you well." I looked down and stirred my coffee, smiling a little. I said, "Olivia, love might be nice, but it's not worth ruining someone's life. Even without you, I would still be doing well. What bothers me is that you had so many chances to tell me you didn't love me, but instead you chose the worst way to keep us together. You wasted 7 years of your life. You wasted mine, too." Olivia suddenly stood up, looking panicked, trying to explain but not knowing what to say. She closed her eyes, tears in her eyes, looking down. "No, it's me. It's my fault." I asked, "Did you never understand your own feelings?" When she nodded, I smiled even more. I said, My dad once said something. He said, don't let people you dislike make you angry. You only need to care about the people who are worth your time. That's why I didn't say anything about Maya. First, I didn't care what she thought. Second, I didn't want you to be unhappy. That's what liking someone is about. Liking someone is very clear. I liked you, so I wanted to be good to you. But what about your feelings? I asked her again. Olivia didn't answer. I sighed and said, if I hadn't found that diary and we got married, you'd still be unhappy. You'd feel like you were forced into it. Our marriage would still be bad. It seems you still don't understand this. Our breakup wasn't because of the diary or Maya. It was because you thought you were better than me, which was really just being arrogant. You looked down on me. But I'm not completely innocent either. Looking at her worried face, I spoke softly. My mistake was not ending things sooner. When you let your friend treat me the way she did, I should have known that our relationship was over. Today is the last time I'll meet you, Olivia, for Mrs. Chen's sake. I put on my coat, and she quickly stood up. I said, let's not meet again, Olivia. Without looking back, I turned and walked out. As I opened the door, my phone rang. It was David saying, is it done? Dinner is waiting for you. If you don't come soon, someone will come looking for you. I smiled and replied, "Coming right now." In March, a young boy asked us for help. It was early spring, but still a bit cold, and he was wearing a thin school uniform. His left eye looked strange, like he couldn't see out of it. He stopped us on the street and said, "Big brother, can you help me make friends here? I want to make friends." The boy's name was Alex. His parents had died in a car accident when he was young, and he had been raised by his grandmother. His grandmother often scolded him, calling him unlucky and treating his eye as a bad sign. His classmates bullied him, too. He said, "No one likes me." Because of this, we started looking at elementary schools everywhere. Finally, we found a girl at one of the schools. She had a sweet smile, like sunshine. When we brought her over, she was skipping. Her parents walked behind her, laughing. "This child has been spoiled." As if worried we might misunderstand, she added, "But she's a good child." Yes, not bad at all. Whether she was lively or quiet, that was just who she was. The two children met, and in less than 15 minutes, they were already playing together. The girl looked at him and said seriously, "Your eyes aren't ugly at all. They just have no taste. From today on, I'm your friend." I said, "Me too." David added, "Me too." The girl's mother knelt down and patted the boy's head, saying, "My house isn't far from yours. If you miss her, just come over. I'll make you something good to eat." As we were leaving, I told the boy, "Don't worry too much about what people who don't like you say. What they say isn't important. What matters is that you know who you are." The boy looked confused, so I smiled and patted his shoulder, saying, "Alex, you're a really great person." I didn't post the video right away because I told David I had more to record. That evening, while editing the video at home, Anna called, "Michael, come downstairs." It had been almost a week since we last saw each other. During this time, she had started a new job and had to travel for work. When I went downstairs, she was bringing a big suitcase up the stairs. When she saw me, she waved. I hurried to take the suitcase from her. She smiled and said, "These are all your favorite snacks from middle school sent by your ordinary friend." I laughed. Since I started trying to eat healthier, I hadn't had any of these snacks. It felt strangely good. Our relationship never really went further. Later one day I asked, "Anna, did you know me back then?" She leaned closer and said, "I didn't really understand things back then. I just really wanted to be friends with you. But you moved schools soon after, and I was so sad." Back then, Anna was small and shy, always looking down. Michael, on the other hand, always seemed confident, ready to stand up for himself. Anna thought, "I really want to be friends with Michael." But she never said a word to him. On the day she found out he was leaving, Anna stayed home and cried. Anna never told Michael that when she was 23, they briefly met because of work, but he didn't recognize her. She recognized him, though. Later, Anna returned to her hometown and heard that Michael was back. The first thing she did was try to talk to him. She really wanted to be friends with him. After getting to know him, she saw him clearly. She liked him more and more. The feeling she had in middle school had grown over the years. Michael was a bit surprised when he heard this and said, "I never thought anyone would want to be friends with me back then." Anna looked at him and said, "You're great just the way you are. People who are right for you will always find you." She was thankful that they had met again after all these years. After saying goodbye to Michael at the cafe, Olivia never messaged him again. The years of feelings between them had become something painful, and every time she thought about it, her heart hurt. But she knew it was her fault. After Maya caused a scene at Michael's place, they had a big fight. She couldn't understand why Maya kept being mean to Michael. It wasn't until Maya kept saying, "Then why don't you go get Michael back? What's so great about that city that he has to stay there?" that Olivia started to realize something about Maya. She asked, "Do you like Michael?" Maya, looking annoyed, replied, "How could I like that guy who's always acting cold?" Olivia said, "You do like him." Maya stopped pretending and said, "So what if I do? Why does he always look at me like I'm nothing? If he was even a little bit nice to me, I wouldn't treat him like that." Hearing this, Olivia was shocked. But even more so, she felt regret. She had a friend who was always thinking about her boyfriend. Olivia bit her lip and said, "But he hates you." Maya replied, "Doesn't he hate you?" Olivia answered, "I'm different from you. I have feelings for him." Maya responded, "But to Michael, it's all the same." Olivia didn't pay much attention to Maya's words. She went to Michael's hometown, waiting like she was obsessed, staying near his building. She wanted to tell Michael that she liked him. She had broken up with Ryan, and she didn't love him anymore. Could they start over? But Michael didn't give her that chance. Just like Maya had said, Michael hated her too. After Michael left, she sat in the cafe for a long time. When she went outside, she felt lost. She didn't know where to go. She and Michael had no home together anymore. She couldn't find her way back to what they used to have. She tried to stop thinking about him, throwing herself into work, but she got sick and ended up in the hospital room. She looked at Michael's social media. He had posted a new video. One of the videos had a special message. It was for someone brave. "Hello, what are you doing right now? Are you studying hard or rushing around the city? Are you a student or a parent? Are you doing well? Are you happy? Whatever you're doing, I want to tell you today, you are amazing. I used to lift weights, I was strong, but maybe I didn't look the way people wanted me to. I heard people talk about me and say mean things, but that didn't define me. When I was a teenager, I always wanted to be confident. I thought, what do they know? I could work hard every day. Of course, I would be proud of who I became. I hope that you, the person watching this, are proud of yourself. After university, I worked in a big company. It was hard to decide to leave, but I did. I went back home and decided to relax for a while. I am lucky. And it was during this time that I realized that you have a lot of chances in life. When you realize you've gone the wrong way, it's okay to turn back. Instead of continuing down a bad path, making a new choice is more important. Of course, it's also okay if you don't turn back, because maybe something good will happen soon. Brave person, I hope you are proud of yourself. I hope you learn to love yourself. Just like I do, I'm very happy with who I am. Olivia watched the video over and over, almost hurting herself. The pain in her heart became clearer. She remembered the cold look Michael had given her that day. That night, she dreamed. It was snowing, and the boy was making a snowball. She ran over and hugged him. "Michael?" she whispered. The boy looked down, his eyes bright and warm. Olivia said, "Goodbye." In the dream, Olivia said her final goodbye to Michael. In the dream, it was the best time of her life. But in reality, many years had passed, and everything had changed. It turned out that she should have said goodbye a long time ago. She understood too late. She had wasted both her and Michael's young years.